So VuePress is a static site generator, and it's special in the sense that it completely uses Vue for its layout. And because Vue is a framework, so a front-end framework, so it's actually using Vue server-side rendering capabilities to do the static HTML generation. So the result is when you write your layout or write your theme for a VuePress site, it's actually a universal or isomorphic application that runs both on the server and on the client. The difference is we skip the server and run a virtual render for every route in your app to generate the static HTML. So you end up with static HTML, and when you visit that HTML file, it actually loads as a single page application. And the content, so if you have multiple pages in your app, the content actually gets code split into separate chunks. And so when you visit a specific HTML file, only that file is loaded, and only the JavaScript needed for that specific page is loaded. And all the rest is like lazy loaded on demand. So you see when I navigate, there is a short loading bar that's actually fetching the content for that page asynchronously. And when you go back to the previous page, you see the loading bar goes away and the switch is instant because now the JavaScript is already loaded, so there's no need to fetch again. So there's no loading in between. Okay, so let's do a really quick demo. This thing is super easy, so if you want to install it, just like yarn global add VuePress. So since I already have it, I'm going to skip that. So that gives me the VuePress binary. So VuePress has two commands, VuePress dev, three commands. VuePress dev, VuePress build, and VuePress eject. And getting started couldn't be any easier because really all you need to do is like hello VuePress. And you just pipe that into a file called readme.md. So this VuePress is specifically designed for generating documentations. That was the original goal, although the underlying system allows you to write a theme for almost anything. Right? So the default theme included in VuePress is for documentation, and that's this theme that you're seeing right now. Right? So that's the theme, and it's optimized for technical documentation because it supports like these code blocks highlighting, tables, GitHub style tables, emojis, table of content generation, like tip, warning, containers. So you write your pages in markdown. That's like the technical writing format that you would use for most people who write their documentation is in markdown. So to build a VuePress site, all you need is a markdown file. So we have the markdown here. So the whole project contains one single readme.md, which is typical. So we just run VuePress dev in this directory. So it reads your files and builds an app and starts dev server. And it shows hello VuePress. Okay. So let me move this over and move this over here. Okay. And let me open an editor. Okay. So actually, I should use. Let me use VS Code so that it's bigger. Okay, README. So everything is hot reloaded, so you don't have to do anything to wait for the page to refresh or anything. As soon as you save, things gets updated. And as you can see, everything is proper markdown. And custom containers. All right, so you can start writing right away. And once you are ready to add more pages, so let's add one more page. So hello.md. This is another page. And you can link to that page using normal markdown syntax as well. So go to other page. hello.md. So that's the markdown syntax for links, and you would see the link here, and if we click on that, it takes us to the other page. And notice this is actually a single page application. So the difference of this versus a typical traditional static site generator is when you navigate within this site, you're not actually going to another HTML page and reloading the page. You're actually just navigating inside a single page application, which is typically gives you a much faster navigation response time. But you still get the same good SEO for every single page when the browser crawls your page. So now you want to, let's try to customize it a little bit. So it creates a .VuePress folder. This is where we'll be placing our configuration for the site. And inside here, we're going to do a config.js. And inside config.js, we're going to do module.exports equals title hello VueNYC. And that gives us a header. Because this is small, so it's already using the responsive mobile layout. If it's smaller, you get to see this is a layout with a search box as well. So search box also works out of the box. Another page, search box takes you to another page. The search index is built automatically from the content of your pages. And we can do things like theme config, nav. So nav would be an array, text, another page, link, what's it called, hello.html. So that gives us a link that takes us to another page. And everything is automatically highlighted. So we can also add something like a sidebar. So we do sidebar. That gives us a sidebar. And because of the existence of the sidebar, you also get automatically inferred navigation guides at the bottom. So this is already pretty much what you would typically need for writing technical documentation. So you can also overwrite typical sidebars in here, like header 1, header 2, and when you go to another page, this gets automatically extracted here, so you get to navigate along the hash links as well. And this page can also override the sidebar configuration using YAML front matter, so you can do sidebar auto. That would generate a sidebar that's for this page only, but it automatically uses all the headers in the current page, so that you don't have to specify it here in your config.js. Or you can disable the sidebar for a specific page altogether. So that would remove the sidebar. So, cool. Now, this is pretty much like, if you want to write technical documentation for your site, this is super easy to get started. And once you're done with your site and you're ready to deploy it, you just do VuePress build. And that would build two bundles, one for the server, one for the client, and it will run your server bundle, virtually visit every route, and render the corresponding HTML. And let's go into VuePress dist. This is the default location. So as you can see, it generates the HTMLs. So hello HTML, index HTML is 404. Everything is, this is just a purely static bundle that you can put on any static server and it'll just work. We can serve it locally with a simple HTTP server. And you can see we also have mobile-friendly sidebars, responsive layout. Everything works great on mobile as well. Okay. So that's pretty much for the default theme, right? The default theme essentially gives you everything you need to write technical documentation. Plus, we have a built-in internationalization as well. So you can have you can have an additional directory here called. So, for example, I want to add Chinese translation. Just add a directory here. Add readme.md. Add some Chinese. Then inside my config.js, I would have to do locale, actually. Locales. So root path is the default, so that's enus, and ch would be chcn. So there are a bunch of other things that you'd have to configure, but let me run this. Oops, VuePress dev. So, this one, okay? That actually automatically gives us a drop-down, so to switch between languages. And this goes to the Chinese page. So for Chinese, navbar and sidebar can also be individually configured for each locale in your app. So it would use a similar format here. This is pretty much everything I need for writing technical documentation, and we're planning to migrate everything in the Vue.js ecosystem to use this for writing documentation. So that's pretty much it. And we have a guide when you are ready to deploy this to GitHub. Right, so we have some scripts that teaches you how to deploy this to GitHub. And I personally use Netlify for this. So the cool part is once you, if you install VuePress into your project as a local dependency and add a script here, and we would have push on deploy on push automatically thanks to GitHub. So thanks to Netlify. So you would use Netlify to connect to your GitHub repo, and then every time you push to your GitHub repo, Netlify just pulls the repository, builds it, and deploys it and publishes automatically. So this is actually powering this very site. And one thing I forgot to mention, we also have built-in PWA integration, so service worker true. This would automatically generate a service worker and register is on load. And as you can see, this app here, if you look at the network tab, probably can't see it very well, but you see everything is being served from service worker, right? So this is locally cached and it works offline as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so one last thing. Why would this be cool for Vue developers, right? Like, because this is the default theme is great for not only for Vue developers. It's great for anyone who wants to write technical documentation. What makes it cool for Vue developers is the ability to write custom themes using Vue. So if I inside VuePress here, I add a the first thing is you can actually use Vue syntax inside your markdown files. So this is still there. Let me move over here and go back to my 8080. Hello VuePress here, delete all of these and use some familiar Vue syntax, right? 1 + 2, that's 3, right? So you can use Vue syntax here. You can even use directives. You can use HTML. So v4 equals, actually you can do something like pre. This is the page metadata for this very page. Oh, it looks really dark. I don't know why, but style equals color white. All right. So you can like just use normal HTML in here as well. So everything is like supporting Vue syntax, and you can use directives. You can even use components. So if you register components here, new folder components, inside VuePress, and I create a Vue file, hello Vue, and I add some template. Hello from Vue. This is a single file Vue component, so you use everything you can use in typical Vue single page applications. And inside your README, you can do hello. And it renders that component. So this allows you to embed arbitrary interactive content into your markdown without the hassle of like thinking about how to properly hook it up and all that. And everything, if your component is server-side rendering friendly, all of this also gets included in the static HTML generated. So that's already a pretty good flexibility for Vue developers. And now let's see how if we create a theme directory. Inside the theme directory, we create a layout.vue. And inside the layout.vue, we will, oh god. So layout view, we will do div h1 hello and content. Okay. And let me restart the dev server. I keep forgetting that. So now, as you can see, this is now using your custom theme. And your custom theme is just this Vue file, right? So we can do something like style, body, font family. Well, just use something, right? Everything hot reloads, everything is like, this is typical Vue development. If you know how to build a Vue app, you just build a Vue theme and you just build a whole thing. You can build your own blogging system. You can build anything. So you build blogging system using the page, site page and site metadata. So if you go into here, script, export default, and well, let's not do that. You can. So you get access to all the site metadata here. Let's do a new pre. So you get metadata for the current page you're on. It has the path, it has the title, and also all the YAML front matter inside of it. You can also do site. That gives you the whole metadata for the entire website. So you can use this meta information to build like a blog listing page, an archive page, anything that you want to use the metadata for. And for you can also so this content is the outlet for your markdown content. So you can, and because this app is a single page application powered by vue-router, so you can do things like, you can decide what other component to render. So you can use more components here, import them and use them here, decide which component to render depending on which route you're on. It's just like a single page Vue application, except you get to, once the theme is done, all your content is still primarily markdown, and you get this like static site generation for free. Right? So that's pretty much it for VuePress. So try it out, use it to build your documentation, maybe contribute a custom theme. Yeah. Also, this is great for any sort of static content site. Like it's great for building like landing pages or like company demonstration website. Like any site that's primarily static content, this is a great fit. All right, cool. Thank you.